Welcome to the people journey mapping part of the video. This is where most of the work is actually done. And there's two types of journey mapping. There is the product journey mapping, people journey mapping, and essentially it's just a process map. It's pretty straightforward. Things go in here, they do that, and they end up that way. Pretty straightforward. And it is great. The people journey aspect is great for improving people outcomes, keeping an eye on key touch points, so where you should be looking at any given time. And it is a wonderful communication and strategy tool for your team, so they know like exactly where in the chain that they serve, what they should be looking for, and where in the business they must have accountability. Because now you map the whole thing out and you're like, you're here, you're here, you're here. So I'm delegating that to you because that's why we pay you a salary. So moving forward. It is used for, and I'll just separate these, commercially, it's used to identify areas to improve brand experience. So you can do a people journey map for your customers and clients and really streamline it, or onboard team members to vision and operational strategy, like I just mentioned earlier. Identify areas to improve employee experience and performance, because you don't have to map just your customers, you can map your team as well. And identifying client and customer pain points. So by mapping it all out, you can start to go, ooh, here are some issues that we don't have to improve the brand experience, or to see the links between our clients and their customers and how that ultimately impacts us, to show that maybe we have some research and understanding and touch points with their customers, and that's why they should be using us. Number two is for sustainability. So identifying community and workforce pain points. So of course, up your supply chain, the people that are impacted by your company's presence in the community. Number two there is to oversee and improve stakeholder engagement and sustainability. So when you map the whole thing out and you can kind of go, why aren't people applying to our like fun run, or something? Then you'll see here is not clear, or we're not reaching the right people because we're doing this bit wrong. But you need visibility. That's why you map it out. And lastly, to identify touch points for change management. So for example, evolving to meet regulatory compliance. So this could just be back to a team thing, and you say, all right, this is before, this is right now. And later, this is the new map they want to do. This is where we currently are. Which of these areas or which of the places should we be doing first? So let me share some of the steps that you got to take. So with journey mapping, you map out the most important touch points across that person's journey, if they're a customer, an employee. So an understanding of who your target audiences are. So do an empathy map, write down their persona, what they get up to, who they listen to, what their pain points are, what they gain from things. And then after that, you're doing things in silos in order of intention. So once you've mapped out those touch points, then you're applying intentions. Like, what do we want at this point? What does the customer want at this point, at this part of the journey? And you got to be specific about their feelings, about what their pain points are, what their thoughts might be. And then after that, together with your team members, or maybe probably customers and suppliers, is to start ideating and go, okay, here are some of the things that we can do to improve that part of the process. And then later on, this is more work planning, you copy and paste the solution boxes somewhere else, cluster them, and then you identify specific outcomes that you want to have for each solution, and then organize them into a roadmap. So remember this, as we're about to show you an example. You identify your target audience with empathy mapping. Make sure you have enough time to do this project. You're going to see why. And ensure adequate mental and physical space is there. So setting the intention in doing this exercise. And you want to note down every information gap that arises, because you're going to hit parts of the chain where you go, man, I've got no idea. We as a company actually don't know what happens here. And then you realize, we're missing some information. We should probably go and get that. So without further ado, let's dive into our people journey map. So for this example, we're using Cambodia's National Internship Journey Guide that was written back in 2022, designed into some nice posters that was distributed to a few companies. You write down what the most important touch points are. So in this example, for an intern, there's a desire stage, or for the company at that same stage is designing the internship. So for the intern, then they're researching, applying, get an unsuccessful application or a successful one, of which they have their first day of the internship, first 30 days, offboarding, recruitment, yes, no, and then alumni. Now, it's up to you how in-depth that you want to get with each of these silos or each of the touch points. up to you which you think are the most important that you must have visibility over. So that's one. And number two now is the channel intention. So you want to articulate the purpose of each section. So what is the purpose for you, for your company? So here, for a company, you want to attract great talent for the organization, or you're a big company and you're in like a developing nation, so you've got to be seen as developing the workforce. So that's why you're offering internships and placements. So for the intern, there's going to be a lot of different reasons. So wanting to just curiosity, they want to learn what that kind of work is like. They want to build their CV and network, improve their capacity and skills, or just get a job or make money. Now, one tip that I didn't mention before is that we're starting at the beginning, because good design, which is at the very start of anything. So this could be your product, this could be people, all of that happens at the design stage. So we start here because up to 90% of your sustainability and economic outcomes for your company can be found at the design stage, at the very beginning, from the very first decisions. So that's why my recommendation is just to start from the beginning. And then later you can start from important ones where you're like, ooh, this is a really big pain point that we have right now. Cool. So after you've done the purpose section, you move on to the feelings part. That's where you apply empathy, apply all the feeling words that are coming. So the more comprehensive your feelings vocabulary, the more comprehensive the ideas are going to be. So here for an intern, it's not just feeling confused or whatever. There's curious, there's lost, there's stressed. And I just want to stress at this point that lost and scared are two different feelings. So make sure that these are separate. And here's why, because the next point is pain points. And so lost and scared are two different feelings. So when you're feeling lost, it's that you don't know where to go. And so the pain point is actually finding someone who's going to tell you where to go. So finding a company that is actually willing and able to help. And then for scared, you're like going, oh, I'm really not sure if I can do this. I'm not sure if the things that I submit are going to be okay. I might get in trouble. I don't know. I'm feeling really scared. I feel fear. And you get two completely different suggestions because you separated them at the beginning. So for Lost, you might have a recruitment campaign that says, hey, come work for Novel AVC. We really understand what it's like to be an intern. We've been in those shoes before. And our team members have worked their way right up the company. We value that loyalty. So come work for us. Our internships are comprehensive and will actually help guide you through a career in hospitality or whatever. So I just said all of that obviously off the top of my head. And that would address that. Whereas scared, that's more of a people part. So you can put that into your marketing or your recruitment campaign. But that one there is going to be more, for example, like an HR solution where you say all the new interns are going to sit next to John or whoever because he's just finished his internship. So maybe that's a new process you put in place where you say, when you intern, you're placed with people that have just finished their internship. So it's fresh and they know exactly what it's like to go through what you went through. So we've got you a buddy. When you come on internship, you're not alone. There's nothing to be afraid of. You know, something like that. Right? But you can see how we come up with different ideas because we asked better questions. And then come all the recommendations. So we're not going to dive into that because there's endless ideas. And then the company has its own pain points. So in this instance, companies have difficulty designing an internship, which is actually useful because management find it difficult to assign low risk yet productive work to interns. And that's a real problem, right? So by identifying very clearly at the beginning, actually before we even pump out the internship, what kind of work are we even going to offer so that we find the right people and save ourselves headache further down the line? You can come up with an endless set of answers from there. So that's how you apply a silo. So from here, you work on the most important ones until you build out what the journey map actually looks like. Now, after you've got the ideas, you copy and paste those things and then you start clustering them. You're like, hey, all of these suggestions that came from the plan are marketing related and they seem to point or converge towards one core thing that we got to do potentially. And after you've done that, you vote. So you can put them onto, like this is Mural, you can use Miro, tons of applications that you can use to figure out and prioritize which of these tasks that you should do that goes into the work plan and when. And one other tip that we probably have mentioned earlier is that you break down your decisions into micro, meso, and macro decisions. And so if suggestions like installing photovoltaic cells on facility roofs comes up, that's a definitely more than 1 year project. Cool. So what's left is what kind of approach should we be taking? You might not have time to do the whole thing. That takes days, maybe even weeks, depending on how much time you're able to actually contribute. So in some of our workshops, we're like, hey, we're going to do this over an hour and a half, 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour, whatever, and build them out. Or you can finish, there's no sort of right or wrong answer. It completely depends on the resources and time that you have. And if you have the time, then just continue doing the solos. I hope that was helpful for you to see how to start the employee journey mapping. Now we will have a dedicated skill drill just for this. So if you're unsure about how to actually implement that, that's totally understandable. In fact, this was so heavy that we couldn't do this in the skill drills, that we created a video for you to watch beforehand. So do the quiz to see how much you understand and remember. And if you have any questions before the session, you can always send us a direct message. So on that note, see you in the next video.